Hey y'all, it's Samantha,
And it's Kay.
and we are here with another episode of a brunch session.
All right, you guys. Hello. So today is a special episode. We have our first guest today and a special guest at that. Today we are going to be speaking with my dear friend Nikita Grant. She's a recent college grad from FIU, where she majored in journalism. She is also the creator of NikitaGrant.com, and that's just a very small list of her many accomplishments. She is truly the epitome of Black girl magic. So welcome Nikita Grant to Brunch Session.
Woo!
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
guys. Thank you. I'm really happy to be here. I'm excited that I'm your first guest.
I know, like a little backstory, because a lot of people do not know. Our moms, me and Nikita's moms,
Oh my God.
been friends since like they both started in the jail together or however they met. So I've known
hmm
Nikita forever.
hmm
Like literally like middle
Yep.
school.
Our moms used to have their girls' night, they would just like send me and her to either her house or my house, and they would go out
I know,
and
like
we would have to watch each other.
it was crazy. And it's so crazy because I've watched you grow and evolve so much. Like to being
Yeah.
that middle school Nikita, you know, with the cute
Oh
gap
God.
and charter school, your mom going crazy, Nikita, Nikita,
hmm
Nikita. I've watched you
It
grow
was a
so much.
time.
It was
Yeah.
that was the era for real. So now seeing you
Yeah.
here just so accomplished and doing the damn thing, like it's just amazing to
Yeah.
see you. And
It's
I felt like you were a great first host for this topic.
Yeah, I mean, definitely graduating college, that has definitely been quite a journey for me that I did not expect to embark on. So I'm really excited to, be able to discuss it with you guys because I know that both of you guys have also dealt with it and are probably still dealing with it. So I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah. So the it that we're referring to, you guys, is basically life after college. When me and Samantha had this idea, we were like, you know what? A lot of people don't really talk about the feelings that are associated with graduation.
Mm.
And me and Samantha definitely know
Mm.
that feeling because it's like while you're in college, everything is kind of it's good. And then you nearing that finish line and everybody start asking questions like, what are you doing after college? And you're sitting there like, sweetie, it's not even the last semester.
Yeah, the
Like,
struggle.
calm down, relax.
hmm I
I
think the
know.
thing that a lot of people don't talk about is, and that was something I had to teach Kanithia, you got to actually look for a job while you're still in school. Like you can't just wait till after
Yeah.
crossing the stage and then look. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't know about. So you're talking to family members, like you're your
Mm.
senior year and you're talking to family members about, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do, but you're about to graduate in a few months. You should have already had this job offer set up, everything. We don't know that
Yeah.
stuff sometimes. Like,
You
Yeah.
don't. You
mm-mm.
don't. But I know for me, like
Yeah.
when I graduated from UCF, that last semester, I knew I wanted to go to graduate school. I knew that, but I didn't even
Mm.
realize that I should have been studying for the GRE beforehand. So I had to come home afterwards. And to me, that felt like a failure. Like, to me, I felt like, wow, I
Oof.
probably should have been going off to
Preach.
grad school right now. And then my family is like, so what's going on? What's going on? And then to make it worse, I came back home with a bachelor's degree and started working at Delivery Dudes.
Girl.
Like,
It's like when that happens, you feel like you hit rock bottom. Like,
Listen,
Nikita,
it
you looking
is
like you
the
got something to say.
worst.
What's up?
I mean, okay. So my college experience, mainly because I like to, attribute this to be me being from a Caribbean household. My mom and my dad, they both got their education in Jamaica. So when it came to my college application process and even the things that I was going through in college, it was always like, I got to handle this on my own. My FAFSA packet, I had to handle it on my own, looking for, making those connections that, some people have that ability to like just have because parents know this person and that person. I had to make that on my own. So when I graduated college, it was like, oh, this weight is off my shoulders. I don't have to worry about this no more. And then I had to start all over again in this process of finding a job. And I started probably my second to last semester. That's when I actually started doing internships. And I felt like I was so late to the game because I'm like, I know people that have done an internship since their freshman year every single summer. And I'm over here, a senior about to graduate college, and I'm just now looking for one. So I was working at Publix, and I wanted to get out of Publix so bad. Like, I was fighting to get out of Publix. And it was like tooth and nail up until like my last week during my spring semester. That's when I found another internship that would supplement my income from Publix, but I still hadn't found a full-time job. And even right now, I'm working for a company, but I'm still looking for a full-time position. I'm a year out. And that's a hard pill to swallow, even right now.
Yeah, I get it.
Because, in your mind, it's like, I did these 4 years, like, that got to count for something. Like, somebody got to bite. Somebody is going to give me that opportunity, but it takes so much more than 4 years. More,
because now people want, oh, you got your undergrad, you got your bachelor's. What about that master's? You're like,
oh, what about
they're
that?
Looking at that. Oh, they need 15 years experience. Come
on now.
A fellowship. Like, relax.
Were you part of a sorority?
And then still have the nerve to be like, oh, you'll be making like $15 an hour. Excuse me?
That's the hitter, man. Because it's the fact that we're watching people who have whole bachelors literally making the same amount of money as people with high school degrees. That blows my mind.
It's devastating. It
makes no sense.
Devastating. It's like, how dare you?
Like, I went for 4 years. 4 years.
Four.
To that. Girl, you better add some zeros. I don't play with, no. And they're like, starting salary.
And you know what's worse? When you look at the coworkers like, oh, you went to school? Oh, okay. What?
That's funny. That's real funny. You went to school. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Your little play degree. I see you, girl.
You working at the same time, honey? You getting off at the same time with the same salary. That's
same salary, girl.
Listen.
We hear it's like sometimes it can be so humbling because when you're in college, people make you feel this big.
Yeah.
People make you feel like you're in, especially hood people. You in college? Like, so like you school. And then you be done with school and you gotta see them same people. Cause I was working at Whole Foods. When I stopped working at delivery dudes, Whole Foods, Publix, I was at Whole Foods. And seeing them people, hey, Kanithia girl, what's up? I'd be like, oh, this is temporary. This is
don't even worry about it. I'm almost out of here.
A little pit stop. They be like, whatever, calling people. Y'all know Kanithia was at girl Whole Foods. I thought she was in Orlando.
Oh,
no, back home. And you feel like you went from being like this large figure, feeling like so accomplished, like you're that girl or you're that dude, and then you possibly have to come back home, and I was like, back in my old bedroom.
Yeah.
What we cooking tonight, Mom? You know, and even though you're thinking like,
so did both of you move back home after undergrad, or did you guys get an apartment? Both of you? Same.
And when I tell you that thing hit home,
same. So
that thing hit home because I did not expect it. Like, I think that's another issue. We're like, we don't know reality whatsoever. So when I was graduating, I assumed, oh, I'm going to stay in my apartment in Tally. I'm going to get a job in Tally, or I thought I was going to get a house in Tally. I never thought I was going to go back home. All of a sudden, look at me. Hey, Mom, how you doing? Like, come on now. It's sad. And it sucks at the fact that we're so ill prepared when it comes down to life after college, because the only thing parents push on us is college, but they don't talk about the aftermath. They're not talking to us about opportunities and things like that. I remember when I was in school, I didn't know anything about internships, didn't take one whatsoever. It was when I went to an actual university, I had classmates talking about internships. I had my sister telling me about internships. My parents weren't telling me about that. They were just pushing me, oh, get a degree. With what and do what with it?
And then a lot of times the academic advisors, I went to UCF. UCF has almost 80,000 students. So an academic advisor, they don't personally care about you. You're just another number. Like you're your 7-digit, 8-digit code. So you're lucky if you find an advisor that's like, let me take you up under my wing. Let me kind of give you the do's and don'ts. But a lot of those academic advisors, it's like, oh, okay, you come in there with a question, they answer your question, and that's it. Some academic advisors, it's like, well, let me answer your question, plus give you more. Now, I was lucky enough that I did meet the academic advisor, who was a real cool lady. I forgot her name now, but she kind of was like, you know, talking about internships. But at UCF, I had to get my own internship because they had so many kids that even their office that was catered to getting you internship, I would have been waiting a whole year if I had to wait for that office to really give me opportunity. So I was like, you know what, let me get on this good old Google, find me some organizations. And most organizations, you don't have to go through your school to get that internship. You can just apply or reach out to somebody and get your own instead of having to go through that office to get it. A lot of people don't really know that.
So Nikita, I have a question for you. Other than the last minute picking out your internship, what other failures did you have after graduation?
I wouldn't necessarily call it a failure. I would call it an identity crisis, if you want to call it that. But in that, I most definitely feel like I learned a lot more about myself. And I say all that to say, like, I feel like being a student had become my identity once I graduated college. Like, you know, you go through K through 12, you're in school, you're a student the entire time, and then you go to another 4 years of being a student. And now, once I graduated, it was like, I don't have that responsibility of being a student anymore, which, while I was rejoicing at the fact that, you know, I don't have to worry about classes, blah, 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 at the same time, it was hard because I'm like, okay, then what the hell do I do now? Like, what's next? And I always had that, okay, what's next mentality, because I was a student and that's what we're kind of used to. So I definitely found myself like, okay, who is Nikita outside of academics, outside of extracurriculars, outside of, you know, going out with my friends or, you know, going to events on campus? Who is Nikita outside of that? And I don't think a lot of people will notice that until they actually graduate. True. Because I was like, oh, I know who I am, you know, and then I leave and it's like, okay, well, I'm working this job with this degree that I got. I'm working, I come home. What do I do now? Like, I ain't got I'm not looking for a next job. I like where I'm at, blah, 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 blah. My friends, we hang out every now and then, but who am I? And that was what I would consider my failure. But since I graduated a year ago, it was a year, I made a year probably like 2 weeks ago. It's been a year since I graduated college. I definitely have had a lot of ups and downs with figuring out who am I, what I like, what I enjoy. And I feel like I've grown more into myself as an adult. So making that transition between being a student and being like a fully functioning adult, it was a failure, but it was a blessing in the same time.
100%. Yeah. 100%. And the reason I asked is because Like for me, when I graduated, I was trying to get a job like right off rip, and I didn't get like all the places that I applied for. I did the internship. I also interviewed. I didn't get the job. Like I didn't get the actual full-time job. So to me, that was a huge failure because it's like, whoa, I'm sitting here applying thinking I'm going to get an opportunity and I don't. Then it's afterwards, just like, Kanithia said, she was working at Whole Foods afterwards. I ended up having to get a job at, where did I work again? Dunkin' Donuts. And I was working at Dunkin' Donuts I was working at Dunkin' Donuts before I even graduated. So the fact that after graduation, I can't get a good job and now I'm back, it's like, I felt like that was another failure. And then on top of that, I felt the same way you did, where it's like, I don't know who I am. But mine was 10 times worse because not only did I not know who I was, I didn't know what career choice now because I had a regular bachelor's in biology. So now I'm like, did I just waste 4 years of my life? Do I continue education? Do I go back and do another like bachelor's degree? All those added up into just not even depression, but just true confusion in life. And with those moments, it really does make you grow because now school is not my issue. I'm the issue. Now I had to figure out how to put my life together because school was like my distraction. Now I'm not distracted anymore. The only thing I'm dealing with is me. So I felt that 100%.
Yeah, I agree. It's not easy to.
And don't get me wrong, like I got a job working. So I majored in journalism and broadcast media, and I did internships, production internships, and I did journalism internships, and I loved it. And I got a job as an associate producer for a local news station, and I loved it, and but the thing is, after a few months there and like everything, like I'm finding right now that it's not something that I want to do for the rest of my life. And me finally having to swallow that pill that 4 years I spent, preparing to get a position that I got, and it's not what I want to do and it's not fulfilling me. That it's even right now, I'm still kind of going through it where it's hard because, I'm sticking with the position because obviously I need a job. But I'm also in another job search, era. And that's hard because it's like, it's not necessarily, the job I'm looking for is not completely out of my field, but it's just, I went through that whole job search, like my last 2 semesters and into the summer after I graduated. And it's like, I'm starting all over again. And I'm not as prepared as I was because I spent 4 years with this journalism degree or getting this journalism degree, So I completely understand, like, okay, so like, did I just waste 4 years? That like sense of panic that you got, because I'm going through right now.
So before you started FIU, did you always know you wanted to go into journalism, or did your parents did Miss Denise, did she try to push something on you, or what was that process like?
Well, it wasn't Miss Denise. I can say that, most Caribbean parents need you to be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer, or you're not, no, that's it. You can't do anything else. And growing up, she was always like, she wants me to go to college. She always wanted me to go to college, but she was always very open to what I wanted to do. So, Kanithia, you know this, I did speech and debate for all 4 years of college, and I competed nationally. I competed all over the place. So I knew that, communications and, writing was something that I was good at, and it was something that I enjoyed. And honestly, I couldn't find, a field that would embody everything that I like, because I didn't necessarily like English literature, and I wasn't trying to be somebody's author, you feel me? I didn't really enjoy long format writing, but I did enjoy investigative, and I also enjoy public speaking. So I was like, okay, like journalism kind of embodies everything that I love to do. So No, they didn't really influence me. They were just like, you're going to college. I remember my mom telling me, like, after you graduate, I'm packing a U-Haul and you're going to tell me whether we're going north, south, east, or west.
It sounds just like your mom, too. Sounds just like it. That's
it.
Her calling my mom on the phone now. No, trees. This is what we're going to do.
She was like, either you do that or you're going to work and you're going to start paying bills in this house. Because I'm not just going to have somebody and I'm like, okay, I'm not trying to pay no bills. So let me go to college.
I felt that.
So my speech and debate background is what pushed me to journalism. And I still love writing. But I'm just figuring out that as far as long term, it's not something that I see myself doing, just because it's so fast paced and it's so stressful. And being a journalist in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of hurricane season, it's not good. It's not healthy. Let's just say that it's not healthy at all. It's very stressful. And I'm like, I get up and I don't like going into work. And I shouldn't feel like that. Yeah.
That's a hard feeling.
Fear.
That's a fear. That's a fear. And it's so funny that you talk about that, because I think me and Samantha, we spoke about this a little bit last episode, but we are both going through a period of transition, because for the longest time, I really thought I wanted to do clinical psychology. I thought I wanted to counsel. I had a whole, plan. I mean, anybody could ask me a question, I had an answer of what I was going to do.
Right.
And then quite recently, God has completely done a 180, really. And I always love writing too. That's something that me and Nikita have in common. We'll send stuff back and forth sometimes, what do you think? And I always loved it, but I stopped doing it because, when I hit my period of depression, everything I love to do, I just stopped kind of doing. And now I'm getting back into writing. And now I'm in the process of building up my own website. And that's taking me some time as well, because I'm not working right now. Things cost money, trying to figure out all this stuff. So now I'm getting back into writing. That's kind of scary for me too, because I'm like, am I good? Can I do this? And then comes, me wanting to get into a different whole field. I don't even want to counsel anymore. I'm in grad school a year from graduation, and I don't want to do what I've been working for 5 years towards. And now God is like, sis, tap, that ain't it. And I'm just like, hold on, wait a minute. You need to hold on, stop snatching my bag. God is give it to me. And I'm so it's been so scary having to do that. And a lot of people, they go into college and they think they have a whole plan together. And it's when you leave college and you start working, I had an internship earlier this year. And, with grad school, it's different than undergrad, because with grad school, it's way more hands-on. So now you're really getting a first-hand idea into exactly what you're going to be doing. And when I did the internship, after a few weeks, I was like, I don't know about this. And now it's I have to find, now I'm getting into what I love to do. I love to write. I love, global issues. I love lifestyle and blogging. I love all those different things, and speaking and communicating and all these things like that I kind of put on the back burner, thinking that this is gonna, and also thinking about money, because people kind of push you oh, when I wanted to be a clinical psychologist, everybody was like, yo, that's money. That's money. You that's money, right? And then when you start actually working in it, you realize that money.
There's a reason why it's that much money. Okay.
Right. And you realize you're getting paid from their job, but you got to wake up Monday through motherfucking Friday, 9 to 5, and go into this building. Are you built for it? Do you love what you do? Because that $200K a year is gonna be this cool and all, but when I wake up in the morning, I'm miserable.
Yeah,
not worth it.
That is facts right there.
Not
And
what-
for me, it was I never knew what I wanted to do per se, but I knew that I wanted to be a doctor. I never knew what kind. So when I started school, I was doing I was at community college for 2 years. Then I got scared to leave. I chose to do another 2 years at a community college, just taking like classes pertaining to science. And I got a job as a pharmacy tech, and I said, "Oh, pharmacy is it. Like that's that."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm continuing my classes. I didn't get to literally any pharmacy school that I applied to, and I was stuck and I didn't know what to do. So I chose to go to FAM, and I got into FAM, and I was still saying, okay, I still want to do pharmacy, still want to do pharmacy. All of a sudden, I graduate just with a bachelor's in biology, no pharmacy, and now I don't know what to do. All of a sudden, I'm sitting here finding out about chiropractic. Let me tell you, I never knew nothing about chiropractic, didn't know what chiropractic was, didn't care for it, never heard of it. And then when I did hear of it, it was always negative. So I'm just like, this is the last thing I would ever think I would be doing. I thought I was going to be a pharmacist, and chiropractic is literally the opposite of pharmacy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting here like, wow, God really gave me a whole 180 where
Mm-hmm.
not only am I in Atlanta, never thought I was going to be in Atlanta, never thought that I would be doing chiropractic. Like plans that I literally made for myself or thought I was making for myself didn't pan out at all.
Mm-hmm.
So life is crazy, you guys. Life is crazy.
Life hits you hard. Life definitely hits you hard. And college is a great blessing, but I wish I would have known a lot of what was going to happen to me after college. The
Mm.
graduation day, literally. Okay, so Nikita, when you graduated, like, did you feel that immense pressure immediately? Like, walking across the stage and then going to your family, like, oh, what's next?
Oh, I I did and I didn't because luckily for me, when I graduated, I was already in the process of like two different, applications and doing all that stuff. When I felt the pressure, you're gonna laugh. It was the day after my graduation party.
Oh, yeah.
When like, because I was still in that graduation hype and like, oh
Yes,
yay,
that was a good night.
you were there that night. You saw me, so
Yes. Dressed in white, giving it, hunty.
Listen, and then it was just like, okay, the graduation's over. I'm like, okay, I got the job. Now what? And then I was like a kid in a candy shop on my first day, and then Hurricane Dorian happened. My like 2 weeks into me working in a newsroom, and we had to work like these 12-hour shifts.
Wow.
And I was just like, I don't know about this. What did I get myself into? Mm-mm. So the pressure didn't start until after the celebration ended, and I'm like, okay, I'm really not going back to school. And people are asking me about grad school, and I'm like, who gonna pay for it? And like all these things.
They be tripping.
Yeah, tripping. But the pressure didn't start until the celebration is over, and then I'm like sitting in my thoughts, like, okay, I'm back home for one, because I moved back home. So I don't know how that dynamic was going to pan out, because I haven't lived at home with my mom for 4 years. Can we talk about it?
What was that like? Please, let's talk about it. What was that like?
Lord, now you already know Miss Denise. Mm-hmm. All my friends know Miss Denise.
Love her.
Is the mama of my entire friend group. But let's just say that we have to love each other from a distance at times. Woo. Because I was so used to being, well, what I thought was an adult and, turning my own key. If I want to come home at 4:00 in the morning, that's what I'm going to do. And nobody's going to be calling me. Who going to check me?
Now your mom going to check you now. You like.
My boyfriend, used to spend the night, like every night when I was in college. And now he can't spend the night because, first of all, she's Caribbean. No, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Two, I'm getting a phone call by midnight. Where you at? And when you coming home? I'm like, yo, this is different. I'm not used to this.
Yes. That was me.
Yeah.
Coming back home, like not knowing what was gonna happen. But I just, first of all, when I came back home in 2018, like to be honest with you, I was in a really dark place. I was feeling like really depressed because I wasn't going to grad school. I was moving back home. And then it was a lot of other personal things that I had been going through throughout my time at UCF. So when I graduated and I really had no other, like Samantha called them, distractions of classes and tests and working and interning, coming back home, it was like everything that I had been running from caught up and was like, hey, like, you remember me? I'm here. I'm still
here. You still haven't dealt with me.
I never left, honey. I've been just chilling, eating, like, but I'm here. So when I had to face it all, it was like a huge, just dark time. And I remember being like, I remember having a breakdown when I was doing delivery dudes in my car, and I forgot some ignorant client had just pissed me off. And it wasn't even her, like it was everything, but she was just like that little cherry on top of that sundae. And literally I started screaming. I was in the car screaming, crying, like just so upset. And I was just like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, what is going on? And I was applying for grad schools, of course, but I'm still just like feeling like, what if I don't get in? What's my plan B? What's gonna happen? So coming back home, I love my mom, but like you said, from a distance, like,
girl, calm down.
It was just weird coming home, and then I missed my friends because they were still like doing what they were doing. So even though I have like a few people here in West Palm, you know, you've been going for a long time, so they're not like your besties anymore. So then I come back home, and it's just like,
girl, stop it.
Sam, what about you?
When I went back home, one, of course, I dealt with the whole mom not letting me out, whatever the case was. But my hardest issue was dealing with my friends, because I had friends that started families. I had friends that settled down in relationships, bought houses, career jobs. And I'm sitting here talking about, I'm about to go back to school, or maybe, or I don't know what I'm about to do. Maybe, like, that was my hardest part, because I was really trying to cope with the decisions that I made. I had to cope with the idea of not being where I thought I was going to be. You know, I don't know if it's a girl thing. I don't know if it's a human thing, but we make plans. And I had plans for myself. I had, at this age, I thought I was going to be doing this. At this age, I thought I was going to be doing that. And I thought my friends back at home would be on the same page as me, and we weren't. So I'm sitting here trying to cope with not having a good job, and my friends are working in banks or working in hospitals, and I have to go out. I go see them and hang out at their houses. And then if they want to hang out with me, it's coming back to my mom's house. So I'm just like, wow, I didn't expect this. And I think, to me, like, yeah, dealing with my mom and my stepdad, having to deal with their rules in the household was bad, but that to me hit me 10 times worse.
Yeah, that's hard when you experience that, because like we said, nobody really tells you what to experience after college. And I think that now will be just like such a great time, like listening to us speak about it. I feel like a lot of young kids, they need tips. First of all, tips with going into college, like, and then when you're finished with it, because going into it, everybody is so hyped up. I knew so many people that were like, I'm finna be a doctor. I'm finna make that money.
Yep.
Semester.
People I started my freshman year with that I didn't see by sophomore year. You feel me? Like, that happens a lot. Like, you don't know what you're gonna, what problems you're gonna face once you start school. You don't know how it's gonna be. You probably lived with your family for your entire life until your senior year in college, and now you get some freedom. You don't know how you're gonna act. Trust me.
You do not know.
You do not know.
And then, like, being away from home and not having no one to wake you up, not having no one to bust in your room. You can do whatever you want to do. You know, you have some of us that go into a whole phase. Some of us are so sad that we call our mom every day. Some of us are just like living, like, it's just, you deal with it in different ways. And then college is such a time to really find yourself. Like, I know a lot of people say that college is not everything, which is not. It's not. If you don't feel like you're ready, like you're for college, that's cool. But I would say that college taught me so much about myself. Like, it taught me how to really grind. Because like I said, going to a school with 80,000 people, you quickly realize ain't nobody finna hold your hand through none of this. So it taught me that. It taught me that I have to confront my problems. Like, it taught me that I can't always run from everything, that I really gotta get into it. It taught me how to work hard. It just taught me so much about myself. Like, college was a hard time for me, but it's one of the best times of my life. I met amazing people. I fell out with people. But overall, it just built me up to who I am today. So what did y'all learn from y'all experience?
Yeah, same thing as you, honestly. When it came down to the people I surrounded myself with, I had to question myself, question what I brought to the table. Like, I remember my biggest question in college was I a bad friend? Because I used to get into a lot of situations that wasn't school related. It was all social relationship related.
I'm laughing because I know
like, Sam. Yeah, huh? What you say?
I'm laughing because I know Sam and I know them stories. I mean, And I used to be like, honey, you need to get it together.
But it was crazy at the fact that I'm in college thinking these classes were going to be so serious, but classes were so easy. It was
so easy.
Situations, like the relationships, all that stuff was like my learning lesson. I grew up. I learned how to control myself, control my anger, control how I spoke to people. Like Kanithia said, it made me motivated. I had to motivate myself in life, like waking up, taking care of what I had to take care of, having a lot more responsibilities than I ever had. Like, and it was thrown on me. Like, when I left to go to school, only bill I had was a phone bill. Literally, I left for school. I had a car note, car insurance, rent, light bill, all that foolishness. And with what job? I'm sitting here using that student loan money for everything. Like, so there was a lot of responsibility with that because I had to make sure I financed that money correctly. I didn't spend it foolishly. It's a lot. Like, I became an adult in college.
I wish that was me.
In a nutshell.
You said you wish it was you?
Because I still be spending like
oh my gosh.
Now I'm learning. I'm still a college student, so I'm learning finances. But undergrad, one thing else, when that refund check hit your account undergrad,
oh boy,
and you ain't never seen
that type of
thousands
money?
of dollars in your account before, and all of a sudden you buying shit that you don't even need. You got a towel warmer. You're like,
a towel? What? Girl,
why'd you get a towel warmer?
I know you ain't buy that.
Girl, I thought about
she
it.
Did.
I bought a lot of stuff. Let me tell you something right now. When that money hit my account, I was like, balling with life. No,
that's how it is.
But in the semester, I was like, Mom. Oh.
Some kids hard. What about you, Nikita?
What about you? Yeah.
For me, yeah, definitely saw a lot of growth in myself in college. I met literally my best friends in college. Like, that is my circle, every single one of them. Like, I have probably 4 or 5 friends that I'm constantly, those are my road dogs. It's like that's one of the biggest blessings that I think that I got in college. But as far as growth, honestly, I believe that every stage of my life has been a phase of growth. So when I graduated high school, I thought I knew everything. I went to college and it was like, I'm starting all over again. And it's the same thing with life after college. You know, I thought that I had it down pat and I'm still learning myself again. So, I mean, it definitely taught me a lot, but I know that, girl, life is ever changing. It's full of phases. We're constantly evolving, and it's not going to stop. So life after college is just one phase after another. And, you know, even though it's scary and, you know, it makes you weary at times to think about the possibilities of what's going to happen next, especially after college. it's just something that you gotta take it or leave it. You gotta keep on pushing forward. If not, you're gonna be stagnant.
That's true.
Yeah,
You know?
life keeps on going. So, with wrapping up this conversation, I think it's great to if we could all like just give a few tips on people that are about to come out of college. Maybe they're going into their last year, which is kind of like that time to do crunch, like really crunch down on it. So I think, Sam, I will ask you first. What tips would you give people for after college? Or,
Oh,
yeah, leading it out of college?
one thing I could say is take time to, like, if you're trying to be a doctor, I say take time to go to whichever doctor's office that you're trying to be. If you're trying to be a podiatrist, if you're trying to be a pharmacist, go there and try to intern. If not, because with the biology side, they really don't have that opportunity to work with doctors as much. But take the time to build those relationships so you can see how they work. See if this is what you really want to do before you spend years of a graduate school or medical school, whatever the case is, because it might not be for you. So take the time beforehand to try to figure out, is this for you, before you use your energy trying to find a career in something that you might not like.
Nikita, what would you say?
My tip is a little bit more, I don't know what to say, but my biggest tip is to be kind to yourself. You are not going to have it figured out all the time. And I know that social media likes to fool people into thinking that you have to own a home by the age of 21 and be married and have this and be flying this place and have this newest clothes and this designer, this. Be kind to yourself, be patient with yourself, and you need to learn more about yourself. So take that time after college. Don't beat yourself up if you don't have the latest Louis, Fendi, Prada. You feel me? Don't beat yourself up if you don't get that job. Rejection is a part of that job process. You feel me? Don't beat yourself up if you have to move back home. Like, understand that this is a process and you can't rush the process. If you rush the process, you're going to end up hurting yourself more than helping yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I would say on the practical side, the academic side, that year, go hard. Like, really figure out what it is that you want to do, like for real, and figure out the requirements, what you need to start doing, because you're giving yourself a whole year to be like, okay, they want experience, I'm gonna give them experience, which you should already have experience, but it's okay if you don't. You have a year to get that experience. Yeah. Really go hard, like figure out what you need to do, and you're gonna have to make some sacrifices that last year. Like, start out running hard. On the more personal side, I would definitely say be patient. Like, know that rejection letters are going to happen. Get ready for the what's next questions. Get ready for, people asking you, so, did you get the job? Did this happen? Did that happen? Be patient. Honestly, counsel God through all of it. Like,
amen,
really,
girl.
God, even if you was wild not them first 3 years, God was looking
that last
like,
year,
you know what? You a mess. God might have been like, I'm gonna put you. I know what I'm gonna do with you. Even if the first 3 years you a mess, be like, God, I'm coming to you now. Like, which might not sound the best, but with God is like, I forgive you. Now you want to come back? Okay, you been wild now. Okay, but really seek God and really make sure that you're following what you want to do. Don't ever look for the money. Don't look for the sexy choice. Look for what it is you really want to do, because when you start graduating and Samantha talked about bills, hunty,
they add up, boy.
Excuse my French, but them bills is on your ass. Okay,
they're beating your ass every month.
They on your ass. Like, the 15th is due. Guess what? It's coming out that account the 15th. Like, it's coming for you.
Those automatic payments hurt my chest every time I see them. I'm like, how dare you? First of all,
Girl, the email be so rude.
So rude.
Your payment has been made. Bitch, I don't care. This is a Christian podcast, but y'all, I gotta get real heathen on y'all real quick. Because
I have one more pro tip.
Oh, great, yeah. One
more pro tip. Make those connections. Go to networking events.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah. I beg. Because, listen, you can be cum laude all you want. Okay, you could have a list of extracurriculars, but trust me, you having all of that and not having a connection versus somebody who graduated with a 2.5 GPA, who knows somebody that knows somebody that works in the company that you want, that person's going to be picked before you. Yes. So be friendly. Go to these networking events. Okay, make sure you upgrade your LinkedIn. Like, it's sad to say, but that is so powerful in the job search process. Yeah. Like you would like literally cheat yourself if you don't, Not
let Drake get you caught up. No new friends, because Drake got millions.
All new friends.
Drake got millions of friends. Don't let Drake get your behind caught up talking about some no new friends. All right, Drake made that song. He was already a millionaire. Relax, humble yourself. But okay, great conversation. We do have a question of the day before we head off. And I got it. Okay. So this person said, "Hey ladies, I'm thinking about starting a podcast." It's a good one. Do you have any advice for just starting out? That's a cute little question.
That is a cute question. I would just say, know exactly what it is you want to talk about. Like, know what your niche is, I guess you could say. And with that, whatever your niche is, like, just have confidence in it. Make sure you do your research. Make sure you have understanding of what it is that you'll be talking about, because at the end of the day, podcast listeners, they're trying to either be entertained by you or learn from you. So, just be confident with it.
Yeah.
Oh, is it my turn?
Quickly, I would say research. Research into what you're gonna need, because you do need money for a podcast. With me and Sam, our first time getting into it, we were like, "How much is that? What? Yeah. We need what? How much?" Girl, yeah, that was us. So definitely look into great microphones. We use microphones is very important. We use let me see this. The fine tech. You know what? This is the wrong one.
How about you put it in the description?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the description. Get you a good microphone. Make sure you just got like the practical stuff.
Yeah. And everything else, when you start getting sponsorships, then you can start adding more to it. Like,
And also, real quick, be careful who you get into it with. If you're doing it by yourself, you don't gotta worry about that. But if you're having friends, think twice or think 3 times.
True. Yep. True. Go ahead, Nikita.
I would say, with anything you do, I had a podcast, no longer have it. My partner, he went off to the military, which, we couldn't do it as much anymore. But as for my blog, which is kind of like the same platform, I would say make sure that you know the purpose, because if you go into it without knowing your purpose, what is your purpose? Are you trying to teach people something? Are you trying to, focus on mental health? What are you trying to do for your listeners? And once you figure out your purpose, then you can kind of expand. And that's when you gain the confidence in doing, whatever you're doing. Another tip would definitely be to learn editing. I had a background in broadcast media, so I learned how to edit from school. But I know a lot of people that it's like they sit with the mic and they're like, okay, well, I'm just going to talk. And sometimes you have to, different things with audio and things like that. So learning how to edit your own stuff so that you can be hands-on in it, that's really important.
Yeah, and YouTube is going to be a best friend, because YouTube showed us how to do. Yeah. So.
Yeah, we were on YouTube. Me and Sam were like, huh? We had 4 eyes. No, we had 8, because we both wear glasses. We had 8 eyes. But that is the wrap up. You can obviously, find us Friday streaming on iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple, and Spotify at a brunch session. Follow us on our Instagram at a brunch session, on Twitter at a brunch session. You can also follow me on Instagram at Kenethia, two underscores.
You can follow me on Instagram at bysamdc.
And you can follow me on Instagram at it's Nikki _G ITSNIKKI_G.
All right.
And my website, if you'd like to follow my blog is www.nikitagrant.com.
And I love it. It's a great website, you guys, so definitely check it out. But we're going to get into our prayer. So I'll lead the prayer. For our heads, Lord, I just want to say thank you for bringing 3 beautiful women together today, God, to just bring some type of knowledge and education to everyone, girls and guys that are coming out of college or going into college, Lord. We just want to pray over all of the new graduates, over all of the incoming freshmen, like my little cousin Dallas, God. Just praying over them all that this journey will be an educational one. They will not lose themselves, God, but instead find themselves on this journey. And I pray that anyone that is going out of college, God, you will just bless their journey and bless their process, God, and watch over all of us and watch over Nikita as she goes into looking for a job, God. Help her to find the right job for her with the right team, the right hours, the right pay, Lord, and let it be conducive to her mental health, God. Praying over Samantha and her journey as well, Lord. Chiropractor, God, starting her own business, figuring out what city she wants to move to, God, and praying over me as well, my job hunting as well. Just praying over every and all of us, God, especially during this COVID time. Let all the campuses be safe, God, and just give people clarity, discernment, understanding, and wisdom. In God's name I pray, amen.
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 All right. Peace, you guys.
All right.
Out, y'all.